Yeah, we'll go. We'll go a little early. I think we're early. It's all right. I'm ready. Everybody's ready. I think we're ready. I think we're there. Yeah. No, I'm here. Sometimes I show up early. It happens. Everybody's out. I was like, might as well show up. Be a hot shot. Yeah, exactly. You hear that, Joe? That's a little 8 spot right on you. Just tossing an extra 8 your way. That's what I do. What's up, Charles? What's up, Richard? Yo, Joe, Yeti Matzi. What's up, Jay Jennings? Terry 3G. What's up, Lukes? What's up, Majestic? What's up, Rico? Dave. Hey, what's up, Michael? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, we're a little early. It happened. What's up, Majestic? Nothing much. So everybody's out. My son went to some sort of a thing. It's all the way on the other side of town. When my wife found out it was like literally on the other side of Boston, she's like, because there's no easy way to get there, right? So she made her way over there. And then my daughter's boyfriend is over, and they made like a picnic, and they ran down to the park. So right down the street. So they might show back up at some point, but they know to be quiet, I think. You would think they know by now, but you never know. What's up, Matthew Baker? What's up, Dan of NJ? I think I already said hi to Yeti Matzi, but it doesn't hurt to say it twice. What's up, Jay Shav? Johnny Kramer. Johnny. Double R guitar. Charles. Straw Pete. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, Dan? Dan says he sent a video a week ago. It still doesn't show up in the comments. Okay, you sent it to, you put it in that video? You put it in the... You might have to do it again. I can check right now. Because if it's blocked, it'll show up in the blocked. So if I go here, and then I go to the gear video, and then I go to comments, and then I say held for review. There's nothing held for review. So let me go through. What's the name you did you use? Is it the same name that you use here? I'm seeing a few entries. What am I missing here? Hey, Grandpa Joe's here. I didn't see it. You gotta. What's the name that the? Is it under Dan? No, you gotta put the link there, dude. If you don't put the link there, I can't give you credit. If I sent the video, doesn't show up. I don't know if it's under your name or if it's under, like, you know, my guitar place or something like that, but send it again, because there's nothing that's held up there, and I didn't see anything under the name that you have here. That's right, we're on YouTube. It would be your name here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, dude. What's up, Aldo? What's up, Lukes? Well, sad but true. I don't know that. At least I don't remember it. I don't know Metallica. You got to remember, and I can't stress this enough, I was not a fan of Metallica. Never bought a single album. When they played the Monsters of Rock, I skipped them on purpose. Because I want to sit through their set, and they were the opening act. I showed up, boom, boom, good night. Actually, good afternoon. They started at like 1 p.m. No, it wasn't a Metallica fan. So I don't know really any Metallica riffs, because I never really got into that band. I just didn't think the singer could sing. I didn't think the drummer was particularly good. And I didn't think the guitar player was particularly good. I thought James Hetfield was the best guitar player in that band. And it was just a lot of downstroke chug chords. It's like when you're coming from Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen and Steve Vai, felt like a bit of a downgrade. Just even look at the singing. You know who was on Stern recently, or at least they're posting a lot of videos, is Def Leppard. And they do a few of those songs with those background vocals, and you realize they can all just sing their ass off. My God. It's like you think that's like all processing or whatever, but there they are in the studio singing it. And it was like, holy shit, these guys are talented. Yeah, no, Kingdom Come they came later. I saw Kingdom Come that day. It was Metallica was the opener, and then it was Kingdom Come, and then I want to say Dokken and the Scorpions, and then Van Halen. Van Halen was the headliner. What's up, Music Sound Gear? They really, I don't know. I don't really know like much about Metallica. They just were so off my radar. Just never really. And the funny thing is I went to go see, and I used to kind of like Anthrax because they were kind of goofy, right? They were, right? They didn't take themselves as seriously as Metallica did. I think it's probably what appealed to me about them. I think I missed the super chat. Did I miss the super chat? I feel like one went by. And I was blaring. Oh, thanks, buddy. Looking to buy an American Fender to celebrate my first year on the job. Congrats on the first year, bro. Now I'm in the Boston area. I want to go shop local. Where should I go? Well, for Fender, to be honest, I think the biggest Fender dealer around here is Guitar Center. I don't think there is another shop that's a bigger Fender dealer. All the small shops that are left are kind of boutique stores around here because it's too expensive to maintain a store otherwise. You can't compete with Guitar Center. So if you really want the most amount of stock to pick one out from, you should probably go to the Boston Guitar Center. One on Boylston Street, not the one on Mass Ave. The one on Mass Ave is much smaller. It's kind of a joke, but it's across the street from Berkeley. And there's something to be said about having that kind of foot traffic. But the one on Boylston Street's actually pretty good. Downside, it's right next to Fenway Park. You go there when a ball game's on, and it's a traffic jam that you'll not soon forget. The other sort of big store is the one in Braintree. I don't know how their stock is. I haven't been there in years. I usually go to the one in Natick, and which is west of the city. But if you want the one that's in the city, you go to the one at 1265 Boylston Street. Fun fact, that used to be WBCN, one of the biggest rock stations, and pretty much the biggest rock station in Boston for many years. All right, let me get back to the comments here. I'm scrolling back down. Hey, what's up, Ben Coombs? I did see Kiss without the makeup. I saw, but the funny thing is when I saw Kiss with the makeup, the first time, it was on the Creatures of the Night tour. That's the first time I saw Kiss. A lot of my friends saw them on that 79 tour, but I didn't get to go. Yeah. No, I never... And then I saw them without makeup. Geez, I want to say... I'm trying to remember if it was definitely in 86, but I'm trying to remember if it might have been in 85 as well. It's possible it was like 85, 86. And then I want to say... Right, one was Hot in the Shade, 87, 88. I'm pretty sure I saw them on that tour. And then I'm pretty sure I saw the Revenge tour, which might have been like 91. That might have been the last time I saw Kiss until 2012. And that's the last time I saw Kiss. I saw that Motley Crue Kiss double bill. Good show. You know what I'm saying? That weird sort of Vinnie Vincent lineup. Vinnie Vincent was in the lineup. I was so far away. I don't think I had my glasses. I couldn't really see that well. I remember saying, I can't believe Ace isn't playing a Les Paul. He's playing like nothing but Randy Rhoads guitars, all nice. I didn't even notice it wasn't him. Somebody told me when I got out, back to the car, they're like, that wasn't Ace. I'm like, he goes like some guy with a stupid onk on his face. And that show, which was barely full, was a combined 2 shows. That's why it was like one of the fullest houses of the entire tour. That's why it's so far back. Because they canceled Providence, and they said, if you have tickets for Providence, just show up to Worcester, and we'll find you a spot. And they combined the seats with Worcester. It was weird. I never got to see them earlier than that, you know. It was a Revenge Tour 92. That could have been it. I feel like by 92, I wasn't really going to any more shows. But I don't remember. So I was looking through, you know, I think we've talked about this a bunch of times. My first show was Blue Oyster Cult. They played my high school, and they knocked out the power. Oh, thanks, Gary. May your days be humidity free. I tell you, hold on. We had we had 5 straight days of hot, humid weather. It was really bad here. And then it really all blew out, and we had one day that was so nice and crisp. But even by like the next day, the humidity started to creep back in a little bit. It wasn't nearly as refreshing as the first day, with dew points around 43, 45. By the next day, they were like 53, 55. I'm like, yeah, right now it's like a dew point of like 58. That's a little too. So we have the dehumidifiers on, and then I have the air conditioner kick on if the dehumidifiers, which give off a little bit of warm, dry air, if they kick in a little too much and it warms the room up too much, it'll kick on. But it's not really hot out. It's just a little moist. I hate that. They stopped the Creatures tour early. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I remember the one thing I really remember from that tour, again, I was pretty far away, but Paul was walking down a staircase, you know, and he's like, just, you know Paul, right? He's all strutting and everything. He's got the big platforms, and it's tough to walk in those platforms, especially on a staircase. And when I tell you, he took a header. He missed those last few. He's all like, wah, and then, like down. And someone else fell too. Might have been Gene. I forget, you know. But those platform shoes, they're it's like walking on goddamn stilts, especially going up and down staircases. I remember that on the Creatures. It was the Creatures tour but it was Vinnie Vincent wearing makeup. I might have seen the Lick It Up tour, too, because I just had a friend who was so into Kiss. Like, every time they came around, he wanted to go see them. I saw them in, it might have been like 80, might have been 85. And we're waiting out, and it's general admission. And everybody's waiting in a line, and the line's stretching on forever. And we're along this like loading dock area. Like, we're up a little high, but the loading dock goes down, right? It's like a cutout into the pavement. And it's a big, I mean, it could put like 2 semi-tractor trailers down there, right? It's down there. And it's like clearly like how you get in like backstage. And at one point a limousine pulls up, and out gets Gene gets out of the limo, and there are these 2 chicks there that are pretty smoking hot, I have to say. And they're talking with Gene, and everybody's chanting tongue, 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 tongue. And the girls leave him. They're probably 50 feet away. You know. They leave him, and they go in. And it, like, everyone breaks into applause. Like, good work, Gene. And then he got in the limo and left. And then another limo pulled up, and it was Bruce Kulick and Eric Carr. And then the doors, we never saw Paul. He didn't show up when we were out there. Wasp was opening up, and Chris Holmes was in line getting food. At his height, he sort of stood out. I'm pretty sure that's the guy from the opening band. And then I forget if it was that show or the same venue. It was definitely the same venue. But one of the times I saw them there, they had the power go out. And they ran backstage. The mic went dead. And they ran backstage. And they were back there for quite a while. And then finally, they got the KISS logo to light up, and everyone broke into applause. It took like 40 minutes, but they finally came back, and they're like, oh, we got the amps going, but we're not going to have a big light show, and we should be able to get through the night. And they did the full set. I got to say, there wasn't a ton of lights, but they did the whole thing. That was, I'm sure, I doubt they ever went back there again. I'm sure they were very, very angry about that. Music Sounds here says, I saw Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers at the Uptown Movie Theater in Milwaukee. Nice. I saw Iron Maiden at the Cape Cod Coliseum, which is basically now a Christmas tree store warehouse. It holds about 3,000 people. I don't know how many people the Springfield Civic Center holds. I gotta think it's like, what, 9,000? 7,000? 6,000? I don't know. What's up, Mitch? Steve A's family live 1 county from me in North Carolina. His mom from, and I got another 71 Gibson. Oh, nice. I told you a friend of mine went to see Ace Frehley. I want to say at the Channel, the Paradise, and then followed his limo all the way to New York City. They were not amused. I was like, and he's telling me a story, and he goes, and they were very upset. I'm like, you followed their limo all the way to New York City? He goes like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you don't see how that's like mad stalkerish? And he's like, I wanted to say hi. I'm like, dude, that is like psycho. That is like crazy psycho. He like, what? I'm like, really? That is like totally psycho. I saw that. Kiss just played the Tribeca Film Festival. You know, it's pretty good. I'm trying to see. Joe Bonamassa's coming around here, but again, it was just too much for the tickets. It was going to be with, you know, taxes and fees, everything. It was close to $400. I was just like, can't do it right now. So saw the Eagles, Steve Miller Band open for the Eagles. Nice. I saw Bon Jovi open for Rat. They felt more talented than Rat, to be honest. They sounded really good. Really, really good. They were noticeably talented. Everybody was singing the harmonies, and just that whole band was on fire in 1985. You gotta remember, Slippery didn't come out till '86, so this is like with them like really blowing up into this huge band. Yeah, ticket prices are insane post-pandemic. My wife's been holding on to tickets for like over a year now to some Green Day festival, and they keep saying, hold on to the tickets, and I think they're doing it like next year. They're like, you know, hold on for next year. Yeah, they're going to have a new bio. Well, if they had anything to do with it, I doubt it's very, you know, really accurate. How much are they really, you know? I'd say they're going to focus on the positive. Just throwing that out there. They're going to focus on the positive. So let me think about. So I found a couple of fun facts out. I saw Joe Satriani in January. I think it was January 23rd, which is a Saturday night, 1988. That is his first show of record. Like, if you look up any like tour history, there is no show before that. That's the tour for Surfing with the Alien. That is the first show of the tour. He actually comes back and plays the Paradise in May. In fact, I remember that and saying, oh, should I go? It was kind of good, and I wound up not going because I just seen him in January. And yeah, it was January. I remember I brought a date to it. It was, I really remember. And apparently, I went to Joe Satriani's first show. Now, he probably, I'm sure, played gigs before that, right? That wasn't his first show. But it was sort of his first official show after being like signed to a record label and actually like touring under like, now I am quote unquote Joe Satriani, right? It's like, apparently that was the first one. I thought it was pretty cool. I was with you for at the Middle East. For which band? I'm trying to think of who I saw at the Middle East. The Channel, definitely. I know Satriani was at the Channel for sure. I remember I went with Denise from college. She was like in one of my classes. I was like, hey, you want to go to a show? She was like, sure. She really loved Stu Ham's bass solo. That I recall. Saw Frank Zappa. Got to meet him before the show very briefly. Saw the Cars. Saw AC/DC in '81 on the For Those About to Rock tour. Oh my God, I'm trying to think. I saw Foreigner, which a friend of mine dragged me to. I was like, yeah, I'll go see Foreigner. Joe Walsh opened up. He sounded friggin' amazing. I was like, oh my God, is this guy good? It's so good. It's probably 1986. And then we make our way to the front row because we were only like 5 or 10 rows back or something like that. And we just went up to the front row and then the lights went out. So the only show I've ever seen from front row, like absolute, right against the boards, front row. And I remember right before the lights went out, we were looking back for our friends and we saw them on the side and they saw us and they were like, oh. And I just remember them going like this. It was so angry, like, ah. Hi. I remember a Foreigner coming out, and they looked rich. They looked extremely wealthy. Remember, like Rolex watches and patent leather shoes. No, seriously, they looked extremely well off. And I was like, well, how many Foreigner songs am I going to know? And I knew every single one except one, which is probably from the new album. Every other song. I was like, oh my God, that's right, they do this song. Oh my God, that's right, this is a Foreigner song. Like, song after song after song. I was like, oh, that's right, that's Foreigner. They were really good. Hey, what's up, RJ? Saw Black Sabbath Heaven and Hell tour, huh? I saw them on the show I saw is a record. You can buy a CD or, whatever, of the show I saw of Black Sabbath. I saw them on like the worst possible situation. I saw the Black and Blue tour with I saw Purple Sabbath, right? So it was Ian Gillan on vocals, and I think it's right after the Born Again record, and I don't know if it's Born Again Live or whatever they called it, but you should have called it Stillborn, but it was from that show that I'm at. I am at that show that they're recording. That was I want to say the Providence Civic Center. And yeah, God. And then who else did I see? I tell you, one of the best shows I saw was a friend of mine won tickets to go see Robert Plant at Great Woods, and they were really good seats, kind of close to the stage, but a little far back, not right up against it, and slightly to the side, but not really. It was pretty. They were good. I was like, man, these are good seats, huh? And I don't know what the tour it was, but I had seen them years earlier with the Honey Drippers and that whole thing, and this was that was like 86 or something like that. And this tour, the kid was going like Jimmy Page, like he's got his hand, up like this, and I'm going like, is this dude doing like Pageisms all night? What's going on here? What am I looking at here? It was weird. And they did a few Zepp tunes. I was like, oh my, because he would never do it. He would never freaking do that before. The real reason I wanted to go see Purple Sabbath was because Quiet Riot was opening up. But I wasn't driving. I was going with these other morons who just couldn't get their act together. And, we literally rode down in the back of a U-Haul truck. It's completely, completely dangerous. At one point, we all got, thrown hard in the back. He's like, sorry, the guy cut us off. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And so dangerous. I mean, we're just, literally in the back, standing around in the back of a U-Haul truck. Oh, my God. 20 of us going down there. And I'm like, we got to get in there. Oh, can't find a place to park the goddamn U-Haul. Just a nightmare. We finally get in there. And good night. Lights come up. There goes Quiet Riot. I see the back of his head. Nope. That's a roadie. Nope. Nothing. Nothing. Not a single photon. Yeah, I want to say I saw the Honey Drippers. It might have been 84. Was it really? Was it that early? I feel like it was more like 85. That was out in Worcester. That we were running late because a friend of mine had the worst boss, and he was he drove a garbage truck, and the guy knew. He made the mistake of giving out his plans. Guy knew he was going to a concert, stuck him on the latest job is just to F with him, because oh, you think you're going to a show tonight? We're going to stick you out at this place because we know you won't be done till 7 p.m. That kind of jerk. Stuck him there on purpose because just busting balls, bro. And he didn't get out of work until 7 p.m. We didn't get out there till 8:30. They went on at 7. We caught them going off to the intermission, and they came bong. We missed a lot of that show. First time I saw Sabbath was Never Say Die tour. Van Halen opened for them. Yeah, I didn't get to see Van Halen. A lot of my friends went to see them in 1981. So many of my friends saw them on that Mean Street tour. So many of my friends went to that Mean Street tour. And I just, it kills me I didn't go to that tour. But I got to see them twice in one weekend on the 84 tour, and that's what I made up for it. Because those were amazing shows. Well, the first one was really outstanding. Second one, it was the third show of the weekend, right? They played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By the time I got to Sunday, it was just sort of meh. Right, they really had lost a lot of steam. Honey Drippers were a short EP in 84 and a short tour in 85. Yeah, that sounds about right, 85. Because I remember when they had these guys up at the top that were swinging their legs and they had the bubbles going. Right, they were full on. That Honey Drippers thing was funny. It was good. And of course they had Robbie Blunt on guitar, who was amazing. The one I really bummed out that I missed was that 79 Kiss tour. And a friend of mine had tickets to go see the Kinks in 1980 on the, One More for the Road tour. I was so, in love with that live album, that Kinks live album. And they were pretty much playing that live album for that tour. And I knew that album like the back of my hand. I was just so in love with that album. And parents wouldn't let me go. His parents wouldn't let him go. He is now a senior petty officer. Is that right? In the Navy. I'm terrible with those designations. So Robert Plant. I've seen the Halen from 84 on every time they came. Yeah, I saw them in 84. I don't know if they toured in 85 for 5150 or if that was 86. But I saw them on that first tour when they came out with Sammy. Saw them again on Monsters of Rock. And saw them again right after that tour when they came back in that winter. And that sounded really good. That was a really good sounding show. Saw Robert Plant open for a Shaken and Stirred tour in Vancouver. Nice. in college. He went to Montreal to see SRV. You're killing me, because a friend of mine took his girlfriend to see Stevie Ray Vaughan. He had front row tickets at the Orpheum. And so bummed. And missed it. He brought her. And then I was going to go see them with right, the Beck and Stevie tour. Remember that tour? Right, Beck had just come up with Guitar Shop, I think it was. And it was a tour. They would take turns headlining. And then, of course, they'd come out and jam together. Yeah, I wish I went to that one. The other one is I had tickets to go see Ray Charles with Dizzy Gillespie. And I didn't go because I had a final exam the next day. And I knew I could not trust the kids. I wasn't driving myself. And it was in Lenox, right? It was out of not Great Woods, the one in Lenox, the Tanglewood. And I couldn't trust them to drive me back. I could just see right now, it'd be like a $200 taxi drive. It wasn't going to happen. So I skipped it because I knew they didn't come back, and I knew they weren't coming back. And I said, I will literally miss my exam, and I will fail this course for missing the final. And so I didn't go. And I wound up, actually, my wife worked at a newspaper and got us media passes to go see Ray Charles at the Hat Shell for the Boston Globe Jazz Festival. And I sat in a reserved area right in front of the stage, completely open just for us. I was sitting next to Eric from Eric in the Evening. I had my camera with me. And they warned me, they said, if you go up there and it's like soft and he hears the click of the camera, he's going to be angry. So they're like, you have to click your camera when you're close to him, far enough away that he doesn't hear the clicks, because he finds them very annoying. And I worked really hard to satisfy that, because I knew he had sensitive ears, and I was like literally 10 feet from him. I mean, walking right up to the front of the stage, and just waited till the band like really picked up and got a shot, very loud. There's no way he was going to hear it. But then I would get back and people in the crowd would go, oh, you take my camera up and go take a photo. And so I was like loading up on cameras and like going up there and like one for you and like one for you and like going back and saying, okay, enough. All right. Should have brought a telephoto lens. I can't help you. That was a good show though. And we had instant ingress and egress, right? We had state police, so we could just go, oh, we feel like going out now. Oh, no, we feel like coming back. If you were at the rest of that place, you were camped out all day. There was no leaving. It didn't work like that, So that was really good. That was pretty awesome. I tell you, the Cult got booed off stage. I tell you, I went to go see the Cult open for Billy Idol. A friend of mine wanted to see the Cult. And we stuck around because I said, I've heard that this guy, Steve Stevens, is like a real phenom. We should just stick around for a few tunes. Just check him out. And looking back now, it was the first show of that like big tour. Right, so they were like on fire. And when I tell you Steve Stevens sounded so goddamn amazing, we were talking about it for weeks and weeks afterwards. And you know what? That brings me to another point. Let me see if I can bring that up here. While I'm thinking about it. While I have it on the brain. I'm going to bring that over here. Is it anything? Is it more frequent? I don't have recent. I'm just going to just put me down on record for saying that Amazon Music is hot garbage. It's just, okay, it's like, can I sort by, release date? They're like, no. Like, Can I have a breadcrumb of the last things I played? They're like, these are suggestions based on the last things you played. It's like, I just want the last things I played. They're like, but you like stuff like this. I'm like, will you stop? Ah! Anyway. What I wanted to point out was this. I can't play any of it because obviously it's copyrighted music. But this is, except for some reason it has, for those about to rock, we salute you at the bottom, but that's not it. It's what's above it. It's Still Wish You Were Here, a tribute to Pink Floyd. This came out May 28th, so pretty recent. And you've got like Shine On You Crazy Diamond. It's Jeff Tate, Steve Hackett, Billy Sheehan, Ian Pace, right? Todd Rundgren, Rick Wakeman, Tony Levin. This is James Labrie, Steve Stevens, Patrick Moratz, and Rat Scabies, not his real name, and Ja Wobble, probably not his real name either. This is Rick Emmett, Joe Satriani, David Ellefson, and Carmen Appice, Edgar something, Ron Argent, Steve Hillage, Ian Pace, and Bootsy Collins. I'm not so crazy about the Wish You Were Here. I think they took it a little too far away from the original. The first three are goddamn genius, especially Have a Cigar. Steve Stevens is just tearing it up. Just like perfect. And these first three are very accurate to the originals, just modernized. You know, these last two depart a little bit more than the first three. But this is a great, if you have a service like you're paying into, you know, and you just get all this crap for free like I do through Amazon Music, as long as you can search for it yourself and don't ever dare to have them remember anything you've ever done. This is like what you like. That's a pretty good one. I thought that was I was enjoying that this week. Okay. Joe Wobble's the bass player from Pill. I'll take your word on that. My first show was Anthrax. Nice. I saw Anthrax. It's probably the late 80s. Probably, I know it was the Paradise Theater. I thought they were great. We saw Raven there. We had fun. Raven. Remember Raven? It's a trio. You know, he was a bass player / a singer, guitar player, and a drummer. And the drummer wore a helmet, I think a hockey helmet, which exploded at some point during his drum solo. It was the height of artistry. I saw Rush on the Signals tour. That was, I looked it up, it was December 15th, 1982. At the Worcester Centrum. I had these two drunk broads behind me, like leaning on me all night. Their pocketbooks got stolen too, and I was laughing. I was like, yeah, well, you shouldn't have been a drunk hoe all night. God, they were insufferable. And we were third row, dead center. And that show was so good, and it sounded so good, and everything was so awesome. I just remember being so young and stupid, saying, like, you should really get tickets like this all the time, you big dummy. Oh, really? Oh, should you? Or should you just get tickets like, should you just get like third row, dead center every time? Okay. Yeah, put me down for those. It's like, just the hubris of youth, right? Just like, yeah, the drummer wore a helmet. I'm trying to think of some of the local Boston bands. The ones I remember were like The Lines. They were awesome. I actually wound up being in a band with the drummer for The Lines years later. They're a really good cover band, and they had a couple of... they wound up having more success on... it's called The Drive. They had a couple of songs on V66. Doing a countdown. And I like The Atlantics, was a Boston band. I would see the Cars. I remember seeing the Cars. I remember Amy Mann behind the counter at the Newbury Comics on Newbury Street before it became like a multi-billion-dollar street. Like you need like cuckoo money to be on that street now. I don't even think there's a parking garage across the street. I think they tore it down because it's just too valuable. But there used to be across the street from the Newbury Comics was, see, there was a guitar store there at the corner, which eventually became a Tower Records, which is probably a financial services building now. I mean, I don't know what could afford to be there. But there was Newbury Comics, if you look down the road on the right side, and directly across the street, with just some like colorfully painted doors. That was Synchro Sound Studios. You would see the members of the Cars out front once in a while, and sometimes in the store, like checking out records. You know, I'm trying to think of who else. Boston bands? Jay Giles. That's all I can think of, like off the top of my head. Of course, Aerosmith. The only time I was front row center at a major concert was Rush on the R30 tour, Dream Come True. One of the best sounding shows I ever saw was Rush. I want to say in the late 80s, early 90s. I saw Rush. It was at the Worcester Centrum. We were just in that first row of loge, right behind the mixing board, like up in the air. You know, but there's a lot of stuff behind us. And they had speakers all at the edge. And man, that sounded so good. It's like, damn, this sounds good. It's like the best sounding concert I've ever been to. Like, really amazing. You know, he could make a sound. It would go around in circles. It was like, it was really, really good. The Grateful Dead did that in '87. I saw them at Foxborough Stadium. And they quickly realized that the sound was just going to be garbage unless they spread speakers out. And to their credit, like every so many feet, pretty much at every section, they put a large loudspeaker down at the bottom facing up at you. And they cranked those speakers up all the way around. Rather than cranking them up at a huge, like a bunch of speakers up at the front, they spread them out throughout the stadium. And when they were playing, I was like, oh my God, I can really hear them. And they're kind of in sync because it's not taking like all the way across the stadium to get to me. Like when I saw Bowie, everything was like a half a second off, right? Speed of sound versus the speed of light. Way off. Yeah, it might have been the Presto tour. Might have been the Presto tour now that you mention that. That sounds about right. You know, when did Big Money come out? Because I'm pretty sure that was Presto like around that time, or was Big Money? Or I just remember the set list, and I remember them playing Big Money. Right, was one of the songs, which clearly they weren't playing on the Signals tour. Right, the song wasn't out yet. Craziest shows was the Walk in Open Air. Yeah. So what was that about Amy Mann? She used to work behind the counter at Newbury Comics. She was the cashier at Newbury Comics. You know, she would just, you know, fishnet stock. I can remember. I remember buying, this is like 82, 83, 84. It's really 83. Really 83, like summer of 83. And going in there and buying like the Immigrant Song, because it was the only place you could get it for the Japanese import single, and you could get Hey Hey, right? What Can I Do on the flip side. It was the only way you could get that. Like if you wanted to own that song, you had to go buy the import single. The only place that had it was Newbury Comics. I remember buying it and her ringing me up. Big Money's earlier, 84. All right. Presto was 90. That sounds about right. Because I remember we had done a show with these. I went with a couple of band members, and we weren't in a band until like 87, 88, 89. So 90 does sound about right. Because remember, we were a few years in on that band, and we decided to go. Used to buy comics mail order from Newbury Comics. I saw, not too far from here, I saw Steel Panther on the Field of Steel CD release party. Was at the Newbury Comics Super Center on Route 1. And I went there, and they did an acoustic set, and they were funny, man. That was like 2 weeks after I discovered them. That was like October of 2009, something like that. 84 was Grace Under Pressure. 85 was Power Windows. Pretty sure it was 1990. Presto sounds like the right answer. Roll the Bones. You know what? They played Roll the Bones that night, I think. Now that you mention it. Was Roll the Bones on Presto, or am I way off? Frank says he's seen over 100 shows, but the best band he ever saw live was Yes. Oh, nice. On the 90125 tour. Nice. I saw, I'll tell you who really surprised me was the Black Crowes. You know, I figured they'd be sort of like a blues band. They had they came out on stage and just like built behind a curtain, you know, just sort of like a... You know, and I was like, oh my God, this is really good. It's a pretty good show. They sounded great. I think the singer, they said, wasn't feeling well. He was white as a sheet, and he was sweating all night and didn't move an inch. He did look like he was suffering from the flu, and that's what we had heard. We heard he was sick and just wanted to get through the night. Yeah, God. I saw the Roll the Bones was a song on the same album. Roll the Bones is from 91, so maybe it was 91. Maybe it wasn't. Roll the Bones is on Roll the Bones. Okay, so that was the name of the album. Maybe it was 91, because I could have sworn they played that song. I could have sworn they did Roll the Bones, so maybe it was 91. You know? The Police at the Orpheum, 81. There's a show. A friend of mine saw them at the Rat. That Orpheum show, is that the one that's on the BC simulcast? That made it out as a live album at one point? A friend of mine saw them at the Rat, and there was nobody there because we had a blizzard. Nobody showed up, and they were not happy. Saw the Black Crowes open for Robert Plant. That was pretty good. Yeah, the Black Crowes had a lot of different problems, yeah. Saw Chick Corea with Frank Gambale. I saw Chick Corea with Frank Gambale, 87. That was an amazing show. That was really, really good. And I saw the Brecker Brothers with Mike Stern on guitar. Again, it's a lesson in just how bad you are at the instrument. You know, if you want to feel bad about your playing, just go to one of those shows. Like they're just so amazing. I felt like I got conned into seeing Aldo Nova. I felt like I got conned into seeing not Brian Eno, Brian who from Roxy Music, Brian Ferry. You know, nothing against the guy. Clearly, you know, everything. But I just don't know his stuff. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, I got an extra Brian Ferry ticket. I got no one to go with. You want to go? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. We got there. He's like, yeah, that ticket's $35. I'm like, really? Really? Okay. Let me give you the money for the ticket. And sat there. until he played Love's Drug. And then we called it a night because that was the only song I knew. I was like, got called in to see him Pearl Jam. Mike took lessons from Charlie Banakis. Probably so did Pat Metheny, but he won't admit it. Charlie Banakis was the genius around here that everybody went to, including, and most famously, Mike Stern. Who else? Jeff Berlin, Jerry Bugonzi. It's a whole list of people. I never saw Prince. A lot of friends to go see Prince. I never saw Springsteen. A lot of friends who would go and see Springsteen. I saw U2 a bunch of times. In fact, one of the shows I saw is like the CD or the DVD, right? I think it's the Elevation Tour. First time I saw them in like the early 80s, probably on the, before the Joshua Tree, probably on the, what's the one in between War and Joshua Tree? You know that one. That album. That one. Pride in the Name of Love? Is that what it was? I forget now. Would have loved to have seen Weather Report. I didn't get to see PDB either. I would have loved to have seen Hiram Bullock with Kenwood Denard and Jaco Pastorius. That trio was just sick. I got some bootlegs though, but I did get to see Hiram a couple of times, and he was amazing. Unforgettable Fire. Yeah, Unforgettable Fire. That's the one. Yeah, I saw those. I never saw Trickster, but I did see Keel. I saw Y&T, Dokken a bunch of times. I probably saw Y&T like 2 or 3 times because they just kept showing up on bills, right? Usually on multiple bills. Same with Dokken and Twisted Sister, right? They're always on like multiple bills. I'm trying to remember if I finally made it to go see Whitesnake. I might have. I did see The Firm. Remember The Firm? Remember Jimmy Page? I remember Jimmy Page lighting up a cigarette, and the volume was like if you had just like scored, the winning field goal in a Super Bowl. I mean, it was just like deafening roar of like Jimmy Page lighting up a cigarette. People were like, "Oh my God, Jimmy Page!" And he couldn't even hear him. He would walk up to a mic, and the sound would be so deafening, you couldn't hear what he said. He could go, "You all suck, I hate you," and we would have been like, he's the best. Worst concert I ever saw was low-budget metal fest in the late 80s. Kicks, Lillian Saxon. Yeah. Yeah, Mean Streak. Oh, yeah. That was that. I think that was the album they were supporting around that time. Y&T, right? Mean Streak? That sounds about right, yeah. I don't think I ever got to see Huey Lewis. I'm trying to remember. Did they ever show up on any? Usually it would be sort of like a bulk thing. I saw Tom Petty. I don't think so. Never got to see Slade. Never really even got to see Quiet Riot covering Slade. Sucked. I know. I should see Alice Cooper. He's coming in the fall. So in late September. He's got Ace Frehley opening up. The problem is that the venue, the floor is flat. It's not a particularly good venue. It's an open-air venue. So, and it's on the water. But, if it's a hot, muggy, humid night, it is what it is, right? It's just miserable. But across the floor there's this upper deck where you can buy like an entire table. You got to buy tickets for the entire table, but you could get a whole table to yourself. I forget if it's 4 or if it's 6 tickets, but that'd be the way to do it, is to get like a, you know, you get your own table and just be up on that other side, you know. It's inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I can love you and you're too must be 50 ways to leave you alone. It's about the back. Up on the bus, Gus. Down in the sky, smile. Drop off the key, Lee, and get yourself free. Yeah, I tell you, when I saw Maiden in '83, they sounded amazing. Like one of the best shows. Just sounded so damn tight. Just perfect. Oh my God, they were awesome. They were amazing. You know, Bruce Dickinson was just killing it. Really, really good. The next thing you know, they were out of a stadium that big and right into an arena. You know, they got away from those small, like the very next year, they had already been upgraded to much bigger arenas. You know, they went from a, you know, basically a 5,000 seater, 7,000 seater up to like a 15,000 seater. Same with Motley Crue. Say what you will. They were, they had a meteoric rise. They went from playing clubs to the Orpheum to the Worcester Centrum in about a year, maybe 2 years. Seen a lot of bands, but if I had to pick the ones I thought were consistently the best whenever I saw them, 2 picks would be Cheap Trick, yeah, and Queensryche, yeah. Cheap Trick is one of those bands that is just maddeningly, they're just so consistent over so many years too, you know. And someone coming home. So David Crosby, right after he got out of prison, put on a really nice show. He's probably happy to be out. Yeah, I saw Motley Crue probably 5 times in the 80s, at least. I saw Crue at the Centrum. And I saw him in Providence. Probably saw him at the Centrum at least a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. They used to play the Manning Bowl in Lynn a lot. I would see Crue at the Manning Bowl. My teacher took me to a few girls in class to see U2 on the Vertigo tour. Yeah, 2005. I want to say the last time I saw U2, it's probably the Elevation tour. Then I think we saw him on Zoo TV, because my wife's a big U2 fan. And I definitely saw the Joshua Tree tour. And I think the first one I saw was Unforgettable Fire. So I've seen a few U2 shows over the years. Oh yeah, probably Achtung Baby. I almost certainly saw them on that tour. Saw Motley Crue on Girls, 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 and Dr. Feelgood. I definitely saw them on, because I remember seeing them in, I want to say, 85. 86, 87, 88. I mean, they were coming around consistently. I mean, I used to listen to that Crew Slut song before they would come out. I remember going like, oh my God, here I am again in a stadium listening to Crew Slut, waiting for Motley Crue to come out, right? I mean, that was a sort of a thing they did. They would play Frank Zappa's Crew Slut right before they came out. It was sort of a thing. Last time, again, then I found the last time I saw them was, I took a big break. You know, I didn't see them in the 90s or really the 2000s. I saw them 2012 again on that tour with Kiss, right, with a sort of a double bill. Rev giveaway update? No, not really. Don't really have a giveaway update other than, as I mentioned last week, it's not a contest of skill. Entering the riff, the Canadian riff band, etc., is just to check a box that you complied with the rules of entry. That's all. So it's really random once I get a set of people that have complied with everything on the list, right? Which isn't really that much. Subscribe to Rev and subscribe to me. Is that really that hard? You know, follow me on Instagram. Some people don't want to go on the platform, but sorry, some people, that's what I want you to do. And then do the riff is probably the hardest thing. And again, if you want to be in the grand prize, you send your riff video link to that email address at Rev, right? That's the grand prize entry. I'm just doing my prizes, which are the amp and your choice of a G20 or a D20, the pedals, and the shirt. Now, some people I'm seeing they're doing it like first prize, second prize, third prize. I'm not doing that. You get it all. I'm not. I mean, if I went through all that and I won a shirt, I'd be angry. So, don't. It's like a consolation prize. It's like, don't give me a shirt. No. If you win it, you're getting the amp, you're getting the pedals, and you're getting your shirt. You're getting a massive rev. Like you're getting revved out. You're getting everything. And there you go. Oh, win or lose, I'd love to hear your thoughts on my entry. Sure, yeah. Absolutely. Saw Cheap Trick in the early 90s. I never got to see Cheap Trick live. I did see Aerosmith. I saw them, and Sting. I saw them at the Walden Woods show, along with Don Henley and Elton John. I checked a lot of boxes for me that show. My biggest regret of that show is that we were in a private parking lot because my wife had press passes because she was there representing a newspaper. I was there as a photographer with a camera. We ran into David Bowie in the fucking parking lot. We ran into David Bowie. It's like, we should have stopped. He was with other people. I'm like, who cares? We're press. We should have just went up to him. And we should have got a picture. What were we thinking? We were scared of him. Like, we were the wrong people. Like, scared. Like, that's David Bowie. She's like, David Bowie isn't on the bill. I don't care if David Bowie isn't on the bill. That's David Bowie. She's like, oh my God, that is David Bowie. I said, I'm telling you, that's him. You know, we're walking past him in the parking lot. Like, oh my God. Then when I was out front, again, I'm backstage. I got a camera. You know, I'm waiting to go into a media tent. And standing next to me, I look to my right, it's Sting. He goes, how's it going? I go, pretty good. Oh, good. Like, I'm standing there with, if I only had some way to record it. Oh my God. With today's digital cameras, you know, you get just so, you know, but I probably had the wrong film. Everything came out blurry and camera shake. I finally got in the tent. I had a polarizing filter on the end that was probably knocking 3 stops off of it. I had this big, long, stupid lens on there. It was just, oh my God, it was like the worst ever. It was just terrible. I should go through and see if any of my photos came out of that. So when we got in the media tent, we were in there with Elton John, Melissa Etheridge, Sting, Don Henley. And I think that was it. I don't think anyone else came out. I'm trying to think if... I don't think anybody else came out. It was a very serious, thing about Walden Woods and preserving Thoreau and all this crap. And they didn't have seats for us. We had to stand in front of the mixing board with other media people in a media corral in front of the mixer, which was like right behind that center. They were, you're pretty close. It wasn't too bad. We were right at the mixing console. And then we left, we watched all the acts until Don Henley went through and did a bunch of his songs. And he said, we got a big surprise. And it was Jimmy Buffett. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I'm kind of hungry. She's like, let's go. We left on Buffett. I go, this Jimmy Buffett guy's making me hungry. I know, I could have met Bowie. I know. It's just like, it is literally one of my life's greatest regrets. He's like literally in a parking lot 30 feet from me, right? As I'm walking, we're walking in. We're in a private lot, right? So we got to go in. We have to show our credentials. We get up. We got to go through all the security. And then all of a sudden, we're not in the crazy ballistic parking lot of all these other people. We're up in a lot where it's like 75% empty, right? It's like this inner sanctum lot. And we get out, and I was like, oh my God, that's pretty awesome, huh? Like, I could sense it right away. And we're walking in, and I remember saying to my wife, that's David Bowie. I go, that's David. I remember looking at him, staring at him, going, I know this guy. And I remember saying, that's David Bowie. And she's like, David Bowie isn't on the bill. I don't care that David Bowie isn't on the bill. I'm telling you right now, that's David Bowie. And it was him. Oh my God. Exactly. I saw Jimmy Buffett and I hit the buffet. It's time to go. This guy's... have a good one, Fat Pacer. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. I didn't even get the cheeseburger in paradise. I don't think did we? I wonder if we did. I wonder if it was cheeseburger in paradise that finally drove me out. Because he ended on, I'm sure he was doing changes in latitudes, right? And then he might have been doing cheeseburger in paradise when it finally drove us out. Because I don't think he would have done Margaritaville. I think that's kind of his biggest hit, right? And so I'm sure that was coming up next after the cheeseburger song. And I was like, we should go get dinner. I wound up seeing David Bowie in concert in 1990. I just saw Joe Satriani open for him too. We had second row. Those tickets. It was that was such a funny thing. So the tickets were in maybe the Phoenix, maybe the Globe. It's a classified ad for the tickets, right? This is pre-internet. Hey, buddy. And I call the woman up at 4:00 in the afternoon, and I said, she wanted $150 a ticket. So I called her up. I said, listen, I'll give you $150. She goes, well, that's what I'm asking. I said, yeah, I'm giving you $150 for both. $75 a ticket. And she goes like, these are second row. I said, yeah, it's also 4:00 in the afternoon. So at 5:00, who do you think you're selling those to? She was like, yeah, all right, come on down and get them. She was right over in West Roxbury. Drove over to West Roxbury. She was right off of Center Street. Got the tickets. Called my buddy up. I said, I got the Bowie tickets. Like, all right. We went out there. We get to the spot, and the people next to us. Don't mute me. Don't mute me there, cat. You muting me? You muting me? Get out of there, you. Come on, buddy. Watch out, bud. Watch out, buddy. Careful. Careful, bud. And he, you purring? You on purr cam? Yeah. Nope. So we get there, and next to us, she must have had 4 tickets of these other 2 dudes who bought tickets, these big musclehead dudes. And he goes, did you buy the tickets off the chick? I said, yeah. He goes, $150? I go, yeah, for both of them. He goes, for both of them? He was pissed. I was, yeah. And then, make sure I got a check. Hold on, what did he hit? Check. Did he hit me? I think he hit me. I think he got me. Where did he get me? Check. Check. Oh yeah, I'm metering here. Why am I not metering here? Check. No, nothing on the meter here. Check. There we go. Yeah, he popped it off. Yeah, they weren't happy that we had paid half of what they had paid. And then in front of me with this like nerd guy, I swear to God, I felt like it was the first time he'd ever left the house. I mean, just like the nerdiest dude you ever met. And he was like next to this other nerdy couple, and like at one point it was like this weirdest interaction. He was all like, oh yay, you know, I don't know what was up with this dude. And he like kissed the woman on her cheek, and her husband was on the other side, was like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, it's a rock and roll show. It was like, maybe he was autistic or something. Maybe he was like a little out there, because it was bizarre. And I just remember the muscle dude looking at me going like grabbing both of their hands and just like clogging them together. Oh, yeah. God, shows. I remember we were at Paul McCartney, and we were sitting in our seat, and there was a dude in front of us, this family, and the dude was like so nerdy, and he was there with the kid, and he's like, oh, so into it, and he gave his kid a friggin' straight on the mouth kiss. I'm looking at my friend going, for Christ's sakes, that's a serious Tom, what's that from Family? That's a serious Tom Brady kiss right there. It's like, holy Jesus, get a room. It felt a little weird. Anyway. Yeah, I know. It was like, what is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Oh my God. So I've been trying to do a little bit more with showing you a couple tunes here. I just tell you that like this week I've had 3 tunes that have just been like stuck under my fingers and sort of in my head. Let me get out of this patch here to something something a little straight ahead, or we could do the Tweed one. Anyway, let me get rid of this. We'll go back over here. So, the first one is 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, which is, it's really like, that's the line. All right. So it's just E minor, D, and then C7, which is the C chord like this, but just don't put your first finger down. And you don't play the low E string. Right? You mute that. Right? And then just a B dominant 7. Just like you would in a blues. Right? And that's really the whole verse. Now there is an alternative chord on the second time around. Again, E minor, D, C major 7. But instead of going to the B7, you go to like an E flat diminished. Right? Diminished chord. And that's it. And then the turnaround, right, the chorus is just G, E flat, C, G. If you want to get fancy, you could go G. Get on with Gus, making new plans in C7 instead of just C, C7. If you listen to me, I'm on the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much. Just jump on the key and get yourself free. She said it's real, but happy to and true. Furthermore, I won't get lost on misconstrued. Right? But I'll repeat myself. If the risk of being crude, there must be 50 ways. That's E minor to A7, A minor 7. 11. Right. They just do that little back and forth, right? Then it repeats all again. Like she said, I forget the lyrics now. It's like, she said, well, both me, both sleep tonight in the morning. Begin to see the light. And then she kissed me, and I realized she probably was right. There must be 50 ways to leave me loving. Right, then just about the back. I got that because there's a wonderful video out of Greg Philliganes, which is this amazing keyboard player. And he's showing off, I want to say, Keyscape, or it might have been Trillion. Could be Trillion, right? He's over at, like, Spectrasonics. Eric Persing is the owner there. He's been with Roland for years. He kind of, like, invented a lot of the D50 sounds. Guy's a legend. But Greg Philliganes does a video with the Pocket Queen. I don't know if you never heard Pocket Queen there. And she's amazing, right? Very young. And they go through a bunch of stuff. And he plays that. And I was like, damn, that sounds so good. And I just wound up learning it. The other one I wanted to show you was, sort of came up this week, is... I could... I'm going to use the fingers. The wings of the bluebird things. I never remember the lyrics. 6 o'clock alone would never rain, but I rise. I forget it now. The dominant 7, right? Right? No. That is, you know where I saw that was at the Mojo video. Did you see that by Paul Gilbert? He does a video for the Mojo tone or whatever it's called. I think it's Mojo. It's a distortion pedal. And in that video, he just messes around with that. And that's so easy. That's a straight up harmonization of the major scale, right? So you got a 1, which is G major. And then that's just, you know, that minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, and then C. Right. Right. It's so good. And then it's like to E minor. A dominant 7, D dominant 7. And I rise with the wings. I forget where it goes. That just goes to G and then G dominant 7 for the turnaround. And then C. Hearing that? Oh, hello, kitty. Oh, we got another kitty showing up. You got double kitties. Being good? All right. Be good. Anyway. And then the other one I wanted to show you, again, this one sort of came up this week. And I might have to go here because it's up around here and it's a little tight. And that is the opening to maybe I could just turn this. Yeah, like that. Right. The opening to For Those About to Rock. It's this B major chord. Just the same, triangles you would do down here for a cowboy chord, D chord. But instead of the middle note being D, the middle note is B. Right? And it's really just taking it major, and then on the high E string, right, so that's 11, 12, 11. And then you make it a minor chord, 11, 12, 10. And then you make it kind of a 5 chord, right, 11, 12, 14. And then you make it a sus4, 11, 12, 12. And then you're back to square one. So really all you're doing is, right, that's the only movement. And really the key is you don't want to go, right, that doesn't sound right. That sounds like 96 Tears, right? It's really all in the grip, right? So the rhythm is like right? It's like 99% rhythm. Oh, thanks, Tony. Thanks for listening, Steve. Can you show us some of your TV theme songs? Yeah, absolutely. Right, so that's just D major, D minor, B, D. It's the D shape, B. Middle note is B. On this shape, it's the middle note that's the right one. Then down, then up, then then back, and then we're at the start again. And we could try it with a little bit. If you want to really, maybe we'll try it with like this. Right? Now, there's another way you can play it. With just one finger. And 2 strings, these top 2. Forget the whole shape thing and trying to move the shapes around. If the down and dirty, fast way to play it, without even thinking about it, is just put your finger there and you hit the top 2 strings. Again, it's all about the rhythm. Right? So as you can tell, it's not quite the same. The other one is more exact to the original, but you can get 99% of the way there just with that little turnaround, and then you're only hitting 2 notes and you only have to use 1 finger. All right. It's just a little cheat code. You know. I got the SG here. It's right behind me. We could throw that up. The reason why I didn't take it out is because I had this out right on the stand, and I was just a little lazy. And I knew this was tuned. But you were saying some of the theme song stuff. So... So, the G... So it's really centering around this G chord, right? And the rhythm is really what gets it on that. Right? And then the sort of the top part is just working down that scale you already know. Right, that. Right, it's that literally that same one, but you throw a couple of notes out, right? So you pull off to what is it? I guess it's 6, pull off to 3, over to 3 on the B string. Right. And you're just working your way down, so right, you're always pulling off these top 2. And then it's just that last note that changes, so it's... Right? Right? What else? You know, the other one, the Simpsons I've covered so many times, and same with the other one there, I guess Beavis and Butthead, I don't know if I've shown that much. That's like an A in the root. So let me see if I can get to, see that? Yeah. It's all I'm getting the rhythm right. And it's just A. It's all really all in just A. Am I hearing? No? All right. Just making sure I'm not hearing cats. Yeah, Simpsons is Lydian, you know. But as Trey Xavier pointed out to me, it doesn't end with a 7-1. It's flat 7-1. So the whole... Let me get that right. All right, so it's 1, 3, sharp 4, 6, 5, back to the 3, back to the 1, down to the 5, and then I guess it's flat 5 to 5. Yeah, because that would be the sharp 4, wouldn't it? But instead of going, it goes, right? I forget it, PDX. I'll bet I could find it in 2 seconds here. Hold on. It looks like guitar backing track has gone offline permanently. Anyone else notice that? Guitar backing track is gone. I guess the law eventually caught up with them. I was wondering how they could keep that going for so long. What is it, King of the Hill? Miscellaneous television. Right? Right? Right, physical goes to the 2. Right, so you go to the 4 chord, then you go into the 2 chord. That's a 5 chord. So is it 12? feel like it's... Yeah. It's not... The's no dominant 7 in it. Right? 1, 6, 5, 4, 3. Right? I think he's showing a slide from 5 to 4. How's that for butchered? Wait, can I get you a filet with that? Yeah, you didn't know you were visiting the butcher today, did you? Anyway. I was at that Grateful Dead concert in '87, 4th of July with Dylan. I was there. Though he held down the shift key for 4th. You don't have to hold down the shift key, brah. That's the dollar sign. Yeah, I know. I'm surprised Tom Petty didn't do something with them, just like a little acoustic song or something for them. But, Tom Petty, when it came to music, was a pretty serious guy. When I see interviews with him, he took it pretty seriously. And didn't quite understand about the monetization of it to some degree. He was like, it really confused me. Monsters theme? Yeah. So I have noticed that stock is coming back up a tiny bit. They finally broke over 23,000 new items. Not 23,000 new, 23,000 used items. On Guitar Center used, which they've been below 20,000 quite a bit lately. And they finally broke up over 20, and then consistently over 21, and then over 22, and then recently they've broken over 23,000. So, it seems like they're starting to get more and more stock back in. Prices are still creeping up, though. Mexi Strats are all up. I'd say a good $100 to $150 over where they were pre-pandemic. I wouldn't doubt if you see some price increases across the board. We were talking about it recently. If you look at my 1982 brochure, it sort of has a bunch of new stuff in there. A brand new Strat is $540. That works out to $1,506 in today's money. That's about where a brand new Strat is. Pretty much right on with inflation. Their premium model, which was the Strat, was $650. That works out to like 89 or something. Into it's in the 1800s, right? 1850, something like that in today's money. Which again, if you think about their sort of premium series, it's kind of like right in line with it. The one that's really sort of outstripped it has been the Gibson Les Paul. If you look at their Les Paul in '82, it's around $600, like maybe 580, right? And it's more than that, right? It works out to around like like $1,600 or $1,700, and they're about $1,000 more than that, right? They're like $24.99 for the standard, and then for the custom, you could get the custom. I want to say it was like $700 for the regular and $750 for the triple pickup. Again, this is in May of 1982, and the custom is totally outstripped it, right? Because if you look at it like $750 in today's money, it's like $2,500, and they're about $4,000, right? So they're way above where they would normally be if they kept pace with inflation. Fender's kind of kept pace with inflation for their straight up Strat, USA made Strat with a case. $540 in '82. That works out to about $1,509 today. That's pretty close. I think they're $1,499, $1,550, somewhere around there. I'd say that's right in line. What's up, Shane? What's up, buddy? We finally got our taxes back, and we went from, like, I was checking it like every day. They're like, nope, and then all of a sudden they were like, yep, it'll be there on like Monday, but they showed up even before that, so pretty happy about it. They held it for a long time because we might have been eligible for a little bit more back, but we weren't. We were over the threshold. They're like, nope. We're like, all right, whatever. So they held it up all that time just to say, nope, you're not getting anything. Okay. Good to know. Trying to remember when Fender started building overseas. I can tell you that I remember it because I started working in the music store. The first round I want to say was 82. They got in the 57 and the 62 reissue from Japan, and they crushed anything Fender was making in their factory, and they knew it. They passed that guitar around like, boys, we are in trouble. And those were those first year Squires, those JV Squires, just absolutely amazing guitars. And they came out with the SQs and stuff, and then what happened was the last Fender production was really like in '84. Remember the Elite series and stuff like that? They were shutting production down. That was sort of like the last ones that came out. And then for all of 1985, they're only making those Boxers, which was like a green metallic or like a maroon metallic, almost like a champagne metallic, a pink champagne, kind of like the Burgundy Mist but metallic. And a black pickguard and a painted black neck. And they said Fender on them, but they were all made in Japan. Every single one. They didn't have an American-made guitar in '85. Pretty much everything was made in Japan for the entire year. And then in '86, they came out with the 57 and the 62 reissues, which, while better than some of the stuff they were making earlier, were panned by some purists as like not having period correct clay dot inlays, not having the dots spread correctly. I mean, you're dealing with people that have mental illness when it comes to like period correctness. And Fender was just like sort of close enough, and they learned I think a sort of tough lesson. And really, it was '87 when the American Standard came out that they just crushed it. That was the huge, and then they came out with the whole Plus series. And I was working for the music, we were a Fender dealer. I remember when all that went down. I remember a guy coming in, and there was a sticker on the front of the Fender that was the JV series. It was a Sunburst, and it said, USA pickups, because it had the Fender American pickups in it. And I remember my boss going, that one's got American pickups in it. And he like had a realization at that point. He's like, was this made in Japan? No. He was like practically angry that the guitar was made in Japan. But to be honest, it was much better than anything that Fender was putting out at the time. Fender, they had just gotten so sloppy. It was so bad. Pretty much starting in the late 70s, pretty much, and it was just a huge, they were just, the one that really sticks out as sort of the poster child for that era was the 79 anniversary model. So in 79, it's 25 years since the Strat was invented, right? 54 to 79. And they say, you know what, we're gonna come out with the 25th anniversary model. And they come out with it in this like alpine white. And the paint cracked massively on them. It was like falling off in big chunks. They had to do a recall. They wind up like recalling a lot of them. If you have one of the white ones, they're actually worth money. And they came out with a Porsche silver. I don't know where they got the paint from, but it was much more durable. It did turn sort of gold, and it did colorize over the years, kind of like the way the Strat did. But it wasn't nearly as bad as what that white one was. God, Fender, they just could not. And the Gibson stuff wasn't great in those years. These are like the end of the Norlin years. I would say that if you were looking at a guitar on a shelf in 1981 or 1982, and you were looking for a really nice guitar, and you were looking at what the brand new Fender, the brand new Gibson, and the brand new Ibanez, I would submit that the Ibanez would crush those other two brands in that year. Like 80, 81, 82, Ibanez was killing it. An Ibanez artist, an 80, an 81, an 82 artist versus what Fender and Gibson would do in those years, just they weren't good stuff those years. Those were tough years. Not all of it was garbage, but they were very inconsistent. So inconsistent. You'd get one, it would be great. You get another one, it'd be like, God, this is not that good a guitar, You have the most insane 80s guitar collection. Yeah, I really remember really Jackson, Charvel, and Kramer. By really the summer of '83, that was such a pivotal year. Such a pivotal year, because all of a sudden, Kramer showed up, Charvel showed up, Jackson showed up. They're expensive. The Kramers were the cheapest. They were like your mass-produced one. But all of a sudden, it was the advent of the Super Strat. That was really the major change. People liked the Strat, and the Les Paul had become such the defining look of the 70s. Everyone was trying to get away from the Les Paul. That's what everybody played back then. So everyone was trying to get away with it with a Strat, but they didn't like the single coils. And so there was room, there was a demand, right? And there was a market need not being met, which is basically a humbucker slapped in a Strat. And then you tack on the locking trem. Huge. What's up, Desert Doug? Didn't CBS Network by Fender at that time in the late 70s. They, CBS bought, and it's so funny if you think about why. CBS bought Fender in 1965 because there was a new thing out called television. And they were like, yeah, see, what we'll do is we'll have the musicians and they'll come on and they'll play on our TV network and they'll play the guitars, we sell them. It's vertical integration. That's it. That's just it. We're going to come out with a television company later too. I mean, just stupidness, right? It was literally a part of a vertical integration plot to like, we'll be selling there'll be musicians, and musicians will have to buy instruments, and CBS will be a part of it. It wasn't a good marriage. 1965. In fact, that's such a crossover year. And then one of the first things they did was put out the big headstock and enlarge the name Fender because they felt like people couldn't read it. They had already done it in the couple of years prior. They went from the little thin spaghetti logo, something that sold for much bigger money in like the early 80s. I remember getting those vintage magazines, and they're like, spaghetti logo. That's what you wanted. You can get this spaghetti logo, 62 or 58 for like $1,200, $1,500, which was crazy money back then. You buy a 59 Les Paul for $7,500, and for your $7,500, they'd fly you there, pick you up in a limo, and wine you and dine you for the $7,500. Yeah, no, I know. It was stupid, kooky. But here's a 64.5 Strat. You have the transition logo. I don't know when they had an internal trim with no rear route. That reminds me of Gibson. Gibson licensed the Steinberger trim that was like that, and they were a nightmare to work on. I don't know. My first amp was a mid-60s Fender Princeton. Sold it for $100. Yeah, dude, we've all been there. My first one was a little black Supro. It was probably used by friggin' Jimmy Page on half the friggin' records. My second one was a blue Supro that was bigger and had a Jensen speaker in it. And, yeah, just stupidity. I wish I had both of those. What? Cry, cry. You hearing this, cry cat? Yeah, the Kahler trims. Yeah. The one thing Kahler and Ibanez and Fender, one of the things that they couldn't do, I think Fender tried it and they got shut down, was making the nut the clamp. The nut could not be the clamp. So Fender did it by making these like sliding sort of plates. You'd put the string between the plate, and then on the side there'd be a lever and that would clamp the plate together, right? We snapped a few, customers would snap them off. And anyway, sure enough, I think they got a cease and desist because if you were going to put a clamp on it, it had to be behind the nut. Floyd Rose went after anybody who combined the clamp and the nut as one unit. As far as he was concerned, he owned that concept. And if you wanted to make a lock, you could do it, but it could not be the nut. It had to be behind it. And they all were. If you remember, all the Kahlers, all the Ibanez, all of them were behind it. And it really wasn't until Kramer finally went under and didn't have the clout. It got it so that Floyd Rose didn't have to worry about Kramer coming after him. They were out of money. He's like, Kramer's not coming after me. They're out of business. That he finally, and that started, I want to say, 86 with the Ibanez Proline series. That was the first time I saw a and it was very different, but it had the bones, and it was licensed, and it said right on it, licensed by Floyd Rose, under patent from Floyd Rose, was the Ibanez Edge tremolo, and it was almost in like this sort of weird like silver color. Let me see if I can find a picture of one here. Proline, you remember those? Remember the old Prolines? They had beautiful bound in the ebony fretboards. Yeah, there they are. Hold on. See it? See it like right there? Right, see those buttons? Right, there's a classic Proline. Right? They've got edge tremolos on them. Proline. That's the older one. That's the crap bridge. That's the edge bridge though, right there. Yeah, right there. That's an early. Look, the lock is at the nut. Right. That's probably 85 to 86. That sounds about right. Yeah, the buttons. I remember those buttons. Fender did one like this in like 84. It's a terrible system. At least they have a switch in it, but yeah, the buttons, you could set the system up. It was all kinds of kookiness. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's slightly earlier. I don't think that's the right one. That's like a different. Not all of them were. I don't think that's the right one there. Right, they didn't all have it. It came at a certain point in the line. Yeah, there you go. There's your Proline. Right there. Jesus, what a nightmare. Yeah. There you go. Look. There's your Proline right there. Yeah, good stuff. Those were, that's the first time I had ever seen a non-Kramer, with a lock on the nut, period. Oh my God, is it 8:55 already? I was trying to get videos out today, but this week, but I had a bunch of stuff I had to get done, and one of the projects I had this week that really worked out is I bought a bunch of casters, for some benches I have, and I have it's not a very expensive, but it's a big, heavy, friggin' telescope. It's one of those Dobsonian. And the base weighs like 45 pounds. It's a nightmare to move. It's like 65 pounds when it's like all together. It's a nightmare to move around. So I finally got casters on that, and I got an old table saw that I put some casters on, but the legs weren't sturdy enough, and it was just, I don't want a table saw that's all wobbly like that. So I never used it. I just waited until I finally found a nice big thick piece of plywood I had. You can't buy wood right now. Prices for wood are through the roof. They'll come back down, but right now they're ridiculous. So I knew I had a piece of scrap. Just had to find it in the garage. Found it in the garage, and then mounted some wonderful casters. I got these new ones. It's got a big giant caster pad right in the front. Not only does it stop the wheel from rolling, it stops the wheel from rotating too. So for a friggin' table saw, it's amazing. And so, it's a project that's been like at least a couple of years, like trying to finally get it done, and I got it done. It's like moving that thing around. I'm like, oh my God, it's so much easier. We move this around. Everything's just rolling around so easy. God, I hate it when, when you got to do something and it's like it's a big chore just to even get the goddamn thing you need out. And now it's easy. And I like that. I like that. Exactly. A wobbly table saw means fewer fingers. And what's great is that I was able to just, pull all the heavy stuff off. It's got those side bars that come out and the back bar that comes out and the top thing that, prevents, the guard and all that stuff. And then just crank the blade below the surface of the table and then turn it upside down and really go to town and take care of everything while the table was upside down. And then it was good to go, flip it right side up, and it's like a whole new table. It's like just as sturdy as you can imagine, and just so much easier to deal with and move around. What a nightmare before. Dragging it on the floor, What? You seeing this? You seeing this cat right here? I guess you're not. Where is she? You right? Where you are? What are you doing? She's like playing with my hand here. What are you doing, you goober? Let me see if I can. Is she down there? Where is she? Nope. What are you doing? Cat cam. Oh. Cats. Price of furniture's way up. We just bought a bunch of furniture. And we're pretty happy we got it, too. We just got a whole new living room set. And, come on. Come on. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. You gonna come up? Come on. Come on, you goober. No? No? You just want to maul my leg? Alright. I think I'm getting dragged away here. 9 p.m. Oh my God. You are a big goober. I can't move if I move my chair, I'll freaking roll over, kill her. Like, I hate when they're so close to my chair. Like, I feel like I'm gonna. Look at her flopping down. You can't even see that, bud. Here? Yeah, right there. God. All right, dudes. No, you rock. I will see you dudes in a week. I'll definitely get some vids out this week. I got a good feeling about this week. Really good feeling. I will have a video out. I think the contest ends a week from Monday. Let me just check my calendar here. Yeah, I think it's a week from Monday. So maybe Monday I'll come out with just a little reminder video for people that the contest will be ending soon. And there you go. I'm getting, what are you doing there? Get out of there, you. Oh, God. I got cats. I have a cat needing attention right now. All right, dudes, no, you rock. I will see you dudes in a week. And there you have it. Have a great one. And we'll do it all again in 7 days. All right, dudes. I'm out of here, and have a great weekend. Later.